let's hit the
Too
unmute
close.
and start the show. Hello, everybody. Welcome to Torn Tuesday, your weekly dose of all things Tolkien. I'm trying to get this show started, and we don't have any technical issues. Welcome. My name's Justin. We've been doing this show for over 12 years, and Comic-Con week, just a few weeks ago, I think was our 13th year. It's crazy. Just 753 episodes with this guy. This guy happens to be a man about town, an award-winning writer and producer, and co-author of People's Guide to J.R.R. Tolkien, one and only Clifford Broadway.
Welcome, everybody, to Torn Tuesday. Oh, my goodness. Justin, you stuck the landing. That was lovely. Thank you for that. It's so good to be here again for another lovely episode of the OneRing.net Tuesday show. Everybody from around the world, welcome to join us on all kinds of online platforms. Please join us live, be part of the conversation. Again, my name is Clifford Broadway, also known as Quick Beam in the online community. There's probably a story to explain that maybe later. We'll do that someday. But may I take a moment aside from welcoming the audience? Can I welcome the very erudite and always lovely Jessica from Fellowship of Fans and our LOTR Discord. Welcome again to the show, Jessica. Welcome to our brain trust, our growing brain trust of Tolkien fans on the show.
Oh, yes. Thank you for having me. Bear with me while, okay, my mic and my audio and my shelves and everything, I just get these sorted because I finished setting them up like 5 minutes ago. So happy to be here, though.
The shelves are gorgeous, and look at how
Thank
elegant.
you.
I would say they are elegantly appointed. Lovely.
Oh, I thank you.
Yeah. Look at you going to Comic-Con for your first time, come back, and you're already upgrading your studio and your mic and everything else.
Wow.
Well, it's just the loft. It needed some upgrades. So it was a long time coming, but you know.
Awesome. Well, speaking of upgrades, boy, was there the biggest shocking reveal upgrade today. It is a good day to be a gamer. Look at this. The War in the North.
Sure is.
War North just came out, like, out of nowhere. No one knew this was coming. I don't think I ever heard an announcement about this.
No, I didn't know. You know what? Even our friends and these guys at Middle Earth Enterprises, and I'm tight. I'm hanging out with them all the time. We're relaxing, playing card games. They didn't tell me. They knew all this secret stuff was going on undercover. So it is a welcome surprise because War in the North was and remains a very, very popular platform game. Very popular, console game.
It dropped
yeah,
today. It's crazy. So
and it's on Twitch now, right? It's on the Switch. Excuse me.
It's on. You can watch it on Twitch right after the show. You can
yes.
get it on Switch, and you can
on the Switch.
Watch it on Twitch and play it on Switch and PlayStation and Xbox and Steam, of course, and the Epic Games Store.
Of course,
they all have it. In fact, this is the Steam page, and would you look at that? It's 10% off because of this surprise drop. Yes, it's only $17.99 for a full updated version of War in the North. They've enhanced the graphics so it plays in 4K, 60 frames per second. It is up to 3-player co-op. You can choose to play as a man, a ranger, an elf, or a dwarf. And that's why Varking is in the chat, because this game you can play as a dwarf. And that's his only requirement to support anything. Right, Varking?
That is fabulous.
He says yes.
We should pull him into the chat. He should come in and join us.
Well, I think we're gonna try to raid their stream. Varking is gonna be streaming with Matt, Nerd of the Rings, maybe during the show. So I'm gonna try to raid them, and we're gonna do that. We're gonna watch them play the game and do our live commentary, just like Hassan Piker does all the time. So
that's so fun. I love watching other people play. I mean, sometimes the FOMO is real and I want to get the game myself, but then I remember all the challenges I had with Dark Souls on my old Xbox.
That's
Boy,
like the
that was
hardest game to play.
I know. I mean, but it ended up being one of my all. Yeah, you're right. You're right. But it was one of my favorites. I loved the interface. I loved what you could do with the characters. I loved Dark Souls. But boy, was that a challenge for me. It was so fun.
I'm just
Jess,
waiting for the remaster of Return of the King, the old PS2 Xbox game,
Oh,
which
man,
I
yes.
still have.
Do you mean the one from EA Games? That one?
Challenge everything. Yeah, that
Yes.
one. You guys know what I'm talking about.
I sure
bet
do,
Jack
Jess.
knows what I'm talking
That is
about.
amazing, Jess. I love you so much right now. That is so
I
fabulous.
love you.
I mean,
That is
yeah,
so
I've got
fabulous.
my Xbox downstairs in my garage with my Tony Hawk Underground and my Return of the King. And hopefully someday I can connect them and somehow do co-op with someone and do a stream
Yes.
because that's just, I mean, not that I've played every Lord of the Rings game, but that one is hard to beat. It's really good.
It's so good. Well, I mean, look at some of the fan reactions you're seeing on Twitter. This guy says, I think this is the fastest I've ever bought a game. Yeah, it literally dropped before it was announced. They literally sent out a press release and it was said now available. And it is available. I think this is the fastest I've ever bought a game. Absolutely incredible surprise. Like, man.
Yeah, who knew this was coming? Who knew?
Oh, wow. This has a bad word. We shouldn't show that one. But yeah, the fans are reacting so good. Cliff, we have a special relationship with War in the North, don't we?
I imagine we do. Yes.
Well, let me bring people up to speed. War in the North was the first game and first sponsor that made our Road to Dragon Con 24-hour live stream possible. That's right.
Oh my gosh.
When we were back on Stickam, the streaming service, Jess, you might not know this. So, once upon a time, War in the North, when it was coming out for the first time, they called us up and said, hey, do you have any crazy ideas to get the word out about this game? And you know what we did? We put the logo on my truck, on my big Dodge Ram truck, and me and Cliff drove from Los Angeles to Atlanta, Georgia.
Across the country, visiting
Right.
all these.
On
We visited
purpose?
all on purpose because we took the chance to stop in little towns and communities, and we got to meet fans along the way. And
Okay, that's
we had a
fine.
special satellite Wi-Fi pack. I think it was from Sprint, and that allowed us to live stream
This is before
all the way,
like phones had the
all the way
Twitch
across
app
the
and
country.
everything. Like we
Sprint.
were technically advanced to be live streaming before Twitch existed.
It was a crazy time.
And Cliff,
We
Sprint's
got
still
caught in the
around. No, it doesn't exist anymore. It got absorbed.
it got absorbed. But
We
I did most
did
of the
we get
driving.
caught in a tornado? We got caught in a bad storm.
Oh, the
We got
tornado!
we got to visit the Hobbit Cafe in Texas. I
Hey,
believe it
look,
was
I
in
in
the
love that
chat room.
place.
Yes, me too.
My university stomping grounds.
Oh, that's fabulous. I love that.
Look at the chat room. We still have people watching here today that were part of that journey. The one
That's
fan says that's where I met you guys
amazing.
at the Hobbit Cafe in Houston, Texas. That's right. We went to the Hobbit
Yes.
Cafe in Houston.
Yes,
I
we
could
met
go for
lots
a
of
Withy
fans.
Windle right now.
Oh my gosh, I hear you, Jess. I hear you.
That's the best sandwich.
Yum. That is so good.
Oh my gosh. I'm so happy that you guys remember this. So the War in the North was the game that made that possible, and we stopped in Denver. We stopped in we stopped where Tolkien's desk is in Indiana, or Illinois.
No, that was in Illinois. That was in Wheaton,
Oh, at
Illinois.
Wheaton.
Yes, in the suburbs of Chicago. Yes.
yeah.
My sister went to Wheaton,
Oh,
Yes.
wow.
so I have seen that stuff.
They asked Cliff for his autograph because they had his book in the library.
My book
That's
was in the
cool.
library with
You
the other
made
Tolkien
it.
scholarship. I couldn't believe it. I still can't believe it. It was amazing.
Ugh.
Good.
Did you guys go
good
to
gravy.
Marquette?
Went to
No,
No,
I
not
wanted
that
to.
trip.
I
Yeah, we
wanted to go to
wanted
Marquette.
Where else did we go? We visited the Superman statue in the middle of Illinois.
Yeah, we did. Oh my gosh, was it Smallville? Illinois?
Yeah, and we had a we had a Gandalf figure that was pointing the way, and we took
Yes.
pictures with Gandalf pointing us the way toward Dragon Con.
On our way through Zion
that's
National
fun.
Park in Utah, we stopped at Bryce Canyon and we got the most spectacular photograph of the Gandalf statue, which was an early sideshow Weta collectible statue, and we had Gandalf pointing the way right into Bryce Canyon. It was so fabulous. And now, if I'm not mistaken,
I think
Justin
we
is
need to
looking.
see some of those old pictures.
Oh man,
So you can bring 'em up?
let me.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, Dragon Con Gandalf World Tour. Here we go, folks. Sorry,
No.
we're gonna do a little bit about a memory lane at the top of the show here, but this, folks, this was called the Gandalf World Tour. This was called the Gandalf World Tour,
Oh my.
and we took Gandalf. And he saw.
Okay, that's awesome.
He saw there's Cliff Broadway and Grimlock and Gandalf pointing the way. We got to go that way. You guys are lost.
Okay, how tall is this Gandalf figurine?
Oh, he's larger than life. Look at him. He just
Well,
lit
clearly.
the way. We were meeting random people. There he is in Zion National Park.
That's
saying,
right.
You guys turn around. You're going the wrong way.
Took a few pages out of Peter Jackson's playbook.
It was we did some simple photos of him with the fans. We also did some forced perspective that actually worked every now and then.
That's
Yeah.
the
Sometimes.
Mississippi River right there. He's pushing a barge up the Mississippi as only Gandalf can.
Hey, we stopped in St. Louis to see the arch, the Great Arch.
That's great. Oh,
Oh my gosh.
this is so fun. What year was this?
When did War in the North come out? 2012, I think.
Oh, stop it. Oh my, this is ancient history to some people.
I was
But
like, oh, like
Oh.
5 years ago.
Yeah, we were arguing of
Just a few
which
more.
way to take, and Gandalf was like, "You guys go that way." We found the Lord of the Rings
Left.
slot machines, and Gandalf started playing them.
He's got a gambling problem.
He does have a gambling problem. Gambling Gandalf. Look at him at the St. Louis Arch.
There's the arch, which was
man.
designed and built by architect Eero Saarinen. And that particular day was one of the hottest days of the summer, and you would put your hand on the arch and it would burn your hand. It was so hot that day.
We told
It
Gandalf
was-
not
Why'd
to
you
do
put your
that.
hand on the arch?
But look at him. Like
I
he
didn't,
wouldn't listen
but-
to us.
Okay, but some other
But-
people might have.
He
might have
Gandalf
dared
never
Justin
listened
to.
to us. There's Clifford and Superman.
Clifford's Bilbo sized.
I am. That is total Bilbo size. Yes. Oh my
man,
goodness,
I love
gravy.
this. I just absolutely love this. So yeah, there you go.
I don't have that hat anymore. I miss that hat.
Oh man. Well, so that trip was made possible by War in the North. So we are forever grateful for that game and the success of that game that made that road to Dragon Con possible. So please, folks, it has just been re-released. Surprise dropped today on Steam, on Switch, on Xbox, on PlayStation. You can just buy it. You can just buy it and start playing right now. 3-player. Play with your friends. One can be the dwarf. One can be the elf. You can be the ranger from the north.
That's right.
Look
That's
at
so
that.
cool.
It was fun. I just remember it being fun. What a surprise. What a surprise. That's not the only game announcement that came out of nowhere. Cliff, would you believe this? Lord of the Rings, The Wolves of Mordor officially announced. I thought this was
What?
fake news. I'm like,
What?
yeah, my reaction was like, what? And then I read
Is
more.
this
This is for
Lord of the Rings Online?
This is for the Lord of the
What?
Rings Online. The new expansion pack
Okay.
for the Lord of the Rings Online is going to be called the
We
Wolves
got Katie in the
of
chat.
Mordor.
That is so cool. That is
Let me
so
see that
cool.
wolf.
Let's see that
That's
wolf.
scary.
Wow, evil.
It's not quite a wolf, but not quite a hyena. This is kind of like a little
A warg.
barker.
A little
warg?
barker.
A little barker? I
Yeah.
could see this yapping. Yep, 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 yep. Can one of you lore people explain the significance of the wolves of Mordor?
Well, this is
I'm saying hi to the people in the YouTube chat real quick.
because
Jess,
neither of us really. I mean,
take it away,
this
Jess.
this is unfamiliar to me. I don't know if this is something just for Lord of the Rings Online. Chat is
Well, no.
gonna need
What's
to.
the lore? What's the lore
I don't
background?
think
Like
this exists.
Sauron? Wasn't Sauron a wolf at some
Well,
point?
yeah, but that's not whatever this is, Wolves of Mordor. But yeah, Sauron was able to shapeshift into a great werewolf. He had a bunch of werewolves in his I don't know what you call it, Morgoth's army, one of whom killed Galadriel's brother and ate a Silmaril at one point, and Baron's hand. So
Wait, was
And
that
Baron's
in this
hand, yes.
TV
yeah.
show?
Yes.
No, I'm wondering if they might allude to it in this next season, seeing as how they've done that, and they've had several strains of wargs in the show, which are different than
Wait, the
werewolves.
mystics transformed into wolves, but those were different than the wargs
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
in the show.
Yes. Yes. The wargs in the show, we've had, I think, two others. We had the one that looked like a kind of chihuahua at one point, and then I think he looked a little different when Sauron was talking to him. But yeah, I don't really know too much. Werewolves and vampires are a little bit different in Tolkien lore than in just general cultural zeitgeist. So this is interesting.
It is.
Yeah.
I think that
Drawguard.
the showrunners took just so we can tie it in to what JD and Patrick were doing. But let's talk about Guron for a moment.
Yes, let's.
And yes, let's. The fact that they would take that Silmarillion lore of how Sauron could shapeshift into a vampire bat or a wolf, a werewolf, or to other forms. And collectively, they thought, why don't we say that he could take shape into any other form, not just lycanthropy, not just a werewolf, or to what you'd call an animagus, if we're going to make a Wizarding World reference, although I hesitate to make those references. But the fact that Sauron could take on human form, animal form, any other biological form that he wanted to take up. And so I think
Including the
that
depression blob from the TV commercials?
including
Do you
including
have-
the the
Including
depression block.
Guron.
Yeah. So I don't know. Do you think that that tied into their design of the story, that their assumption that if Sauron could make the form of a wolf or a vampire, maybe he could take any human form as well?
Well, yeah, I mean, if he was just a Maya spirit and
Yeah.
took on a body, who's to say he couldn't do anything? These are just like a couple instances in the lore where we see him shapeshifting. We've also got further deep cuts where he's a cat. Not that he's shapeshifting into a cat, but he literally, like an
Yes.
earlier iteration, was a cat. So yeah, I have no
Yeah.
issues with this.
And
I
ultimately, his biggest shapeshift would be to take on the form of Anatar
Mhm.
and fool everybody in
Yeah.
Ost and Ithil.
Didn't
Yeah.
fool me. I saw right through it.
Oh yeah, you weren't
Uh-huh.
one of the ones who was like, "Ugh, Charlie Vickers left the show because it sucks so bad," and they had to recast the guy who's playing
I
Sauron.
remember those Twitter posts.
I know. So
But I do
funny.
want to say, if McPain are listening, please allow your Sauron to transform into animals. I'm okay with it. You should be okay with it. And Tolkien was okay with it.
It would be nice to get a flashback. They had, I mean, when we saw Finrod's body, he was like clawed up, almost like he had been killed by a werewolf. And they just maybe didn't have rights to say that specifically, and so they were just like, Sauron killed him, and really it was one of Sauron's goons. So maybe they'll give us a little bit more as we bring
Well, Wolves of
Totally.
Mordor officially announced as the next expansion pack for Lord of the Rings Online. Cliff, interesting that you mentioned Animagus. What's that from?
The Wizarding World of Harry Potter.
Well, you won't believe the next news item.
Oh dear.
Have you seen this news, Cliff? Do you know what I'm about to show you?
No.
Folks, breaking news. Tolkien himself, Nicholas Hoult, is playing Gilderoy Lockhart in season 2 of Harry Potter.
Okay. Well, as impressed as I was, and as impressed as I still remain at Nicholas Holt's performances in a lot of other films, and how wonderful it was to see him play young John Ronald Reuel Tolkien, I will not be watching this series. But thank you for letting
You
me
and
know.
me both.
Yeah.
We as a society have progressed past the need for J.K. Rowling to have a platform.
Oh wait,
So
are we not? We're that's what we're doing. We're not excited about this TV show.
No, Justin, we're not
no.
watching it, and no, it's not on my list of anything interesting at all. Because to be quite honest, Joanne Rowling is being incredibly harmful to an already marginalized community of people that do not need to have any more harm brought to them. So I'm going to take on the old idea of live and let live, and let other people live in peace, and let them live their lives. But she doesn't believe that. And so I will not be putting any money in her pockets. I will not be buying any of her products.
You don't have. You
none of
don't
it.
have to. You can just watch the show. There's no ads on it. You don't have to.
No. Sorry. That's watching the show and putting more money into her pockets is directly connected. So let's move on and talk about Nicholas Hoult, because he is one to watch. And I'll agree that he continues to be a fascinating performer.
Hold
And
on.
I'm always.
Is that Nicholas Hoult?
That's
and
him.
You?
That is us.
Wow.
You're hanging out with your buddy, Nicholas Hoult?
Yeah. Yep.
How can you not support his new role? He's your buddy there. What Cliff? Talk to me here.
Sometimes your buddies make bad decisions.
Hey, I don't have much else to say about it. And Justin, even on our own program here on Torn Tuesday, we have had experts who are fantasy, trans content creators who have been able to give a very edifying and smart take on what the problems are that J.K. Rowling has been causing for the community, and it is very widely publicly known. So yeah, I mean, we're not supporting her. However, this director, Dome Karakovsky, he's from Finland. He's a Finnish director, and he is very, very good at what he does. And I'll support him. And the guy that I'm standing next to, I believe, was one of the cast members of Harry Potter and the Cursed Child on the London West End stage. But he also starred as one of the TCBS, who were the collegiate friends that John Ronald had when he was younger. So, yeah.
All right. Well, that's
it's all strangely interconnected, but at this point, as a consumer, I'm advocating with my voice and advocating with my eyeballs, and I'm not watching her stuff anymore. So that's it. Yeah.
All right. Moving on to better things. She Glam's got a new Lord of the Rings makeup collection. And I loved this tweet saying about I'm like Tolkien rolling in his grave, and I need the double blush you shall not pass, inspired by Gandalf's aura.
I don't know this brand, but I think another brand did a Lord of the Rings collection a couple years ago, and I definitely picked up several of those things. There was like an eyeshadow palette and a highlighter, and I've never used them, but they came in very pretty packaging. I want to say it was called like Glam Light or something, and this is She Glam. I wonder if it's the same company or something.
Maybe this is for a certain international market.
It's not great quality product, but it is cute.
But Gandalf's
cute little collector's
aura,
item.
A double blush.
Is that what the blush is called? I can't tell which ones those are.
Oh man, I should have done some more work because I bet you they have amazing names on all of these.
Okay, Glam Light. Yeah, chat is saying Glam Light is.
Glam is the makeup arm of Shein.
Oh, fast fashion. I see. I mean, everything is
Speaking
capitalism
of
is a
things,
prison, whatever.
yeah. Glam Light. That's right. Thank you, Katie. Glam Light. I when my little niece is getting to the age where she's starting to learn about makeup and wearing it, and my sister wouldn't let me get her a Lord of the Rings makeup kit yet. So
How old is she?
14.
Oh. Does she like Lord of the Rings?
Mm, she's more a Star Wars fan right now.
Oh.
She'll come around eventually.
Keep
They
working
all
Oh
on
do.
my goodness. What is in that file? What is in that file of Galadriel?
That's
like
a
a
good
little
question.
is it perfume or something?
It
I
does.
don't
It does
know.
look. It looks like a moisturizer or a perfume of some kind.
It looks like a a foundation setting. What do they call that? Ugh,
Setting
It's
spray?
yeah, setting spray.
Could
No?
be.
a
Yeah.
All
sealant.
right.
I mean,
It's
it
it's
looks too small, but
it's a rubber sealant,
as good a
like
guess as any.
a rubber glue.
Who is doing this licensing? Why would they partner with Shein? Well, if you look at that logo at the bottom, that is obviously the logo from Warner Brothers feature film production of The Lord of the Rings.
Yes, a
That is,
setting spray. Yeah.
yeah. So that's a Lord of the Rings movie license
Do you know
thing.
what? That's the same licensing question. If people are saying why are they partnering with them, you might as well ask why did they partner with the gambling machines company? But all those years ago they did, and I remember really angry words coming from John Rhys Davies, and he said there are few things on earth, and I'm trying to do a direct quote from the man who played Treebeard and Gimli. He said, there are few things in human history that have caused so much collective misery than gambling. And this is really deplorable and awful that they would license all of our likenesses without our approval to these game systems for gambling games. So, yeah, I agree with that concept. And
Hmm.
although John Rhys Davies is a very, very different political stripe than I am personally, I'm standing on common ground with him on that point. He's quite right in saying that.
Okay.
And now literally every celebrity is hawking some like sports betting,
Yep.
whatever BS.
Everything is polymarket and Kalshi. It's terrible. Gambling is
bad.
Ruining everything.
Yes, agreed.
All right. Well, that's the breaking news of stuff this week. Those are kind of huge announcements, and I can't wait to spend my evening diving back into War in the North. If you're looking for people to play with, because it is 3-player online co-op, head on over to our Discord. Fans are connecting and finding each other and sharing their usernames and gamer tags, and to have a good time on War of the North. Let's see. So should we talk about all the latest revelations on Rings of Power?
Yeah,
My
because
favorite.
everybody in the world besides me got an interview with these guys at Comic-Con. So yes,
You couldn't be there.
I wasn't there. I couldn't be there, but yes, I get it. I
That's
totally
the only
get it.
reason why.
I get it. I totally get it. But yeah, I had to make the joke at least. But what an amiable, wonderful, amiable cast. And I love that Varking and all of our other friends had got such great interviews with them. And like so many of our common friends had great interviews with these folks. But they continue to be the most wonderful and amiable people to talk with in this line of work. It's great. I'll
It's
give them that.
great. Well, I've tried to watch a lot of them. There's been 3 more today that I didn't get to.
I haven't
Yes.
gotten to those yet either.
Yeah, I know. Like I've been taking notes. I've been taking notes on the key revelations on some of these videos.
I bet you have.
But some of them are real weird because they're on Instagram and there's no scrubbing thing to like get to the point. So it's really hard to
Yes.
get to the time code. So we're gonna try to find some time codes. But before we get there, I wanted to ask you guys. This was just posted this afternoon by
Yeah, this is nuts.
E51. He's a Twitter user that has been giving some really detailed Twitter threads about Rings of Power for the last 2 years or more, 3 years. I want to get your guys' opinion on his theory here on where the 19 rings of power are in the show. Let's take a look at this.
I'm amazed at how these names have come up. Where did these names come from?
I think he made these names.
He
just
made
for
these
fun.
names.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I would have asked ChatGPT to give me names, but I don't think he did that. He seems more intelligent than that based on his other threads. So let's start at the top. Vilya, Nenya, and Narya is with Gil-galad, Galadriel, and Círdan. Is that accurate?
It is at this point in the history. However, ownership
Don't spoil it.
Okay, I won't spoil it.
Just kidding.
Well, I think with the exception of Nenya, Vilya and Narya will end up going to new owners by the time we get to much later years in the story.
Wait, really? Wait, in this show that'll happen?
Hopefully.
Well, here's
Vilya
the
will
thing.
for sure.
Vilya will definitely change hands to Elrond, and
I think Narya will too.
Oh wow!
Narya will end up with Gandalf. Narya will end up with Gandalf. Do you know, you guys, and I know, Jess, you've noticed this over the years, and so have you, Justin. It is amazing to me that Peter Jackson was so careful about this, but you do not notice ever that Ian McKellen is wearing Narya until you suddenly, obviously see it at the Grey Havens sequence. Isn't that
he
remarkable?
wearing, like, can we look at pictures of his hands?
Yeah.
And
it's clear as day.
Well, in the Grey Havens scene, you can see it there, but in other scenes in the movie, can you see it or?
Nope. In other scenes of the movie and the whole trilogy, it does not appear on his hands at all.
Okay. Yeah. They probably don't have it.
And it might be that after the War of the Ring, after the destruction of the One Ring, Gandalf felt that it was safe to no longer obscure the fact that he was a ring bearer.
Yeah, well, I mean, Galadriel does the same thing even in Lothlorien. She obscures that she's wearing it from most everyone except for Frodo.
Yeah.
So I'm sure Gandalf would do the same.
Okay, now you got me thinking. Let's roll tape. All right, so there it is. That's the final shot at the Grey Havens, and he's wearing the ring on his left hand that's holding his staff on his middle finger. That's right?
Yeah.
Let's get it. Let's go in closer there. Yeah, okay. So if we go to other shots of him in the movies, same hand,
It's
no
obscured.
ring.
That's right.
Can't see it.
That's right.
It can't see it. It's just not there.
Well, yes. I mean, he's not actually wearing it for filming, but for story purposes, he has put a little magic into it.
On the Weta statues, he's not wearing it.
That's right. Let's introduce the concept of wearing a glamour, which is something that the Fae would do. When the Fae are usually visiting the mortal realm, they will wear some kind of a glamour, and it changes their appearance to enhance how they look to mortals. So I would assume that kind of a magical context here, that he's using an illusion to hide the ring that he's wearing.
Oh, interesting. And then if we go,
of course, there's nothing in the books at all to substantiate this idea, but it's just a personal idea that I've always had,
And there's
Justin, your Discord notifications are on.
Oh yeah,
I know, because I just sent you something and I heard it.
And then there's a shot of Gandalf the Grey there. And then what? Let's take a look at what Jess sent.
Oh, there's if we get to looking at some of the interviews, there's Daniel Wayman makes a very nice little reference to, this is just one of my favorite quotes from the Legendarium of when Círdan gives the ring to Gandalf and why
It's
he gives the ring to
wonderful.
Gandalf. It's
Yeah.
beautiful. I made this little thing for Tolkien Reading Day. And I loved Daniel's quote from the interview. I don't want to give it away in case that's one that we watch, but he makes a lovely reference to the language used in this quote. So we can look at that later. I'll need to update this with a picture of Daniel Wayman Gandalf at some point.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So if we go if we go back to these rings, I guess the first question I have for you guys: do you think the 19 rings should all get names in the show?
Not in the show. I mean, they don't in the lore. It's just way too much going on. I like that he did it. I don't think those names need to come up in the show, but I would have no issue if, like, outside of it or production concept art or whatever, they had names. That's just a lot to remember.
Why wouldn't you want that? I mean, the whole point of the show was like a television series that gives you the time and the plenty of time, more than a movie ever
It's
would.
not enough still. It's 50 hours.
There's 19
Right?
rings. There's still 30 hours left. Or
That's a
18,
lot of
50,
names.
24.
And people are dumb and can barely remember the names of the characters. So I just don't think they can handle 19 names. 3 is fine. I mean, you don't even have to use the names, just the fact that the rings are there. I love that they all have a unique look. I love that, the three elven rings are very circular and symmetrical and organic. And then you've got like the Art Deco look of the dwarves, which is perfect for them. And then you have this very kind of thorny, like sharp, just like, I don't know, chains and stuff for the rings for men. It's like they're like caught. It's very good.
Let's unpack that. First off, when do the elven rings get their names?
Just whenever. I don't know.
Probably when they were forged by Celebrimbor.
Yeah. Have we heard their names in the show?
I don't think that I don't know that Galadriel ever said the name.
She does in the Peter Jackson films, but not in the TV show.
In the movie.
In the
Why
TV
am I
show,
getting a hesitation from you guys on like how important
the
names are?
I don't know. Well, the ring is more important than the name.
I do not recall the Rings of Power giving the 3 elven rings specific names. I don't remember that. Although we can easily be corrected by someone.
Point? Should we see that at some point?
Yeah, to see the 3 rings of the elves given names specifically, I think that would be really cool if they are named, but all the others are not. So they should at least do that much. Why not?
All right, fair enough. All right, so the dwarven rings. Look at all these dwarven rings. And it's shocking that we're now on season 3, and there hasn't been an official compendium from either the show or any of the fan sites or why hasn't this created until today when E51 published it is shocking to me. So I just want to get a fact check from you guys. One of these are all the dwarven rings. One is with the long beards, one goes to the fire beards, one goes to the broad beams, one goes to the iron fists, one goes to the stiff beards, and the stone foots, and the black locks.
Yes.
I mean, in lore, that it's not ever, you don't really know who gets these rings. Where one ends up, but other than that, it's not specified, but it would make sense that one goes to each of the dwarven clans. I have no issues with that. I think just Tolkien doesn't specify. But that makes as much sense as anything to me that we have 7 dwarven clans.
Here's the thing. What
One of
clan
those
is
each.
Durin?
The Longbeards,
The Longbeards,
I
definitely.
believe. That's the main one.
Mm-hmm.
The blue ring. So
And that-
that's the blue
Yeah, and that's the
ring
one during
that
the yeah.
that Durin
Yeah.
wielded against. Oh, wait, hold on. Is one of the reasons the Balrog has blue eyes in the trailer, and this ring happens to be blue when Durin woke him up? Is there a
I think
connection
that's
here?
just I don't think so. I think it's just the blue flame of the Balrog means that it's really hot and simmering. So we're seeing like different stages of Balrog
Is
fire.
Durin's brother, played by Eddie Marzan, who's going by the name Thrain, is he also a Longbeard?
Well, yes, he's a direct brother. Of course, he's in that family.
Mm-hmm.
So the Longbeards are fighting over their ring. Do you think we are going to get any stories in Rings of Power, the TV show, about the fighting amongst these other dwarven cultures? Like, are we going to get the story about these Rings of Power?
I think it's to be more assumed that Prince Durin's brother is coming back to Khazad-dûm not to fight over a ring, but to fight over the throne and the title of king itself.
Mm-hmm.
Can I add in that my favorite design out of all these 7 rings for dwarves, by far my favorite design is Asban, the one for the Iron Fists, that has
The
those
green.
3 aqua colored stones. And all of these
Mm-hmm.
dwarven designs are so dwarvish. They're just so dwarvish. The actual band is much thicker. There's much more metal. They are much sturdier, stronger, and they look like these rings are so specifically dwarven in their design. It is to the credit and compliment of the
Mm-hmm.
designers who are working on this TV show that made all these rings so distinct. I'll give them full gold stars. These designs are really fabulous. Fabulous designs, aren't they?
I love that they've given the dwarves such a specific aesthetic along with the elves. I mean, and
Yes.
you can look at one of these rings, just one, like with no other context, you can tell, is it one of the rings for the elves, one for the dwarves, one for the men? Like you can tell
Yes.
immediately. I love that. Yeah, the dwarven ones feel very, very Art Deco to me.
There's a forced geometry
Mhm.
in the dwarven rings, and you would see that in so many of their cultural creations and their architecture everywhere.
Mhm.
And I really love that connectivity. It's a design choice that really works thematically with these
Mhm.
different species, with these different races in Middle Earth. And as you pointed out earlier, Jess, the ones for the men look as if there are claws or hooks.
Mhm.
The settings,
Those hooks in
it
them. Yeah.
yeah, pay attention to those stone settings and the way that they're designed. And the way there's this outward conceptual metalwork around the
Mhm.
stone settings. It is so distinct. The 9
Yeah.
ones for the men. It's
Yeah.
really cool.
Yeah, and you could see some of the Naznagal wearing those. And you can, I think you can see it in some of the
Not these
pictures
rings,
even.
though.
No,
Not
the
these rings.
scroll down. The rings
Yeah,
for
we'll
men.
get there. I just
Oh, okay.
on the dwarven rings. Have we ever seen any other of the dwarven clans? Were they at the Battle of the Five Armies? Were they wielding rings at the Battle of the Five Armies?
No, because they were all eaten by dragons or collected by Sauron at that point. But we
That's
did
right.
see the other dwarven, at least a representative from each of the other dwarven clans in a scene in season 2 of Rings of Power, where during the third summoned them to be like, look at my rings, give me money.
The Iron Fist, is Iron Fist the same as the Iron Foot, like Dane Ironfoot, played by Billy Connolly?
I don't think
I seem to recall
So maybe.
in one of the appendices that Iron Fist, also known as Iron Feet or Iron Foots. Maybe that was
Honestly,
interchangeable.
there's not a lot of most of the dwarven clans. There were a couple dwarven clans from Rune. So I'm wondering if that will come into Rings of Power at all. And then a couple of them in the First Age, when their kingdoms were destroyed, they kind of joined with some of the other clans. So I feel like there's kind of mixing at this point in the Second Age of these different clans.
Question for
If I'm
you
not
guys.
mistaken, Dane Ironfoot, who was played by Billy Connolly, was first cousin to Thorin Oakenshield. So that means he would have been one of the Longbeards, right?
Also
so.
a long beard? Man, we're
Yeah.
we're getting into Star Wars level of just keeping
Honestly,
it in the family.
most of the dwarves that are given names in the Legendarium are going to be Longbeards.
That's
Is
that's
this
about
like the
right.
Skywalker saga? Like everybody's connected to Dane?
Yeah, I mean,
Durin?
Tolkien just didn't write about the other ones very much.
I want
Yeah.
to
He just
ask you
focused on the
guys,
ones.
and I want to ask the chat. Chat, please. I want to see your feedback. When you guys heard the title Rings of Power 5 years ago, did you expect? Because I did. I expected to see a tale of all of these dwarven cultures and the distribution of these 7 rings of dwarves. I want to get to know the Firebeards. I want to know what they do with the ring.
You know,
I
I
want to see
agree
them
100%.
fight
And
a dragon and fight a
that has
Balrog.
been missing. The absence of all that has been notable. You're right. Yeah.
Jess, did you have any expectations on dwarves?
I mean, we've gotten far more in Rings of Power so far than we've ever gotten anywhere else. So I still hope to see more. I'm very excited for the succession struggle that we're going to have this season and to see what happens to these rings because they're not staying in that box. So I did figure that probably the most of the focus would still be on like the elves and Numenor, and like we're gonna keep the through line, but I did figure that we would get to see Sauron with the rings for men and the rings for dwarves and see how that kind of fits together.
Well,
So
we do know that Amazon has rights to do spin-offs of their show. And if there's ever a spin-off to start, just like they did with The Boys, and they did a spin-off of The Boys, and they did Invincible, and then we know that they know how to do spin-offs and do them well. Let's do a completely dwarven story. I don't know if Varking's still here. I want a spin-off show that's only about the dwarves. Look at all these Firebeards and Broadbeams and Iron Fists and Stiffbeards and Stonefoots and Blacklocks. This sounds so interesting.
Wasn't there a big meeting where some of them were at the table in season 2? Yeah, some of their emissaries or representatives were there at the table.
That's what I was mentioning earlier when
Yes.
Yeah, Durin the third was like, give me money. And you can have a ring. Tell your bosses.
Think of all the cool actors that you could put in a dwarven, a completely dwarven show. Nothing but dwarves. They don't have to do scale doubles or anything. Just stay with the dwarves. Dwarf on dwarf action with fighting over the rings and getting the rings to places and fighting dragons and digging too deep and whatever else makes these rings go lost. Sounds so interesting to me. That sounds like a really interesting show.
It would be interesting if they did a separate standalone episode that just featured that content. That would be great.
And then, all right, and then let's move on to the 9 rings of men. Ugh, what happened there? All right. And is there any did E51 here who posted this come up with these whole cloth, or is there any scripture that implies that each ring has a different strength to?
Well, I was interested, yeah, and so there's 7 deadly sins that he's going for here. What's the other 2 that he's pulling if there's 9
So
of these?
he's got hunger, lust, greed,
Okay.
bitterness,
Okay. Bitterness is different.
wrath,
Cruelty.
cruelty, envy, vanity, and arrogance is the last one.
That's the Witch
Mhm.
King
Mhm.
right there.
The
That's
Witch
the
King
Probably.
coolest.
is
I love
arrogant?
that. Well, yeah, I mean, look at that. That's the ring for a Witch King, I think. That last one.
The setting on the stone looks like a Nazgul crown or a Sauron crown.
It
But
looks like a talons, like clutching.
yes, yes.
So
And we
cool.
think that's Kamul.
No, I
No.
think what is Kamul? He's got a really good sense of smell. He could be hunger. I think we can actually see a picture of potentially Kamul wearing the ring in one of the promo shots. But
in
I
the
don't mind
interviews,
hunger.
didn't someone say, maybe it was in Empire, that Kamul feels he has been cheated out of a kingship because of the Dark Wizard?
Did they say
Oh,
that in an interview?
That's interesting.
Maybe I heard that at a party. Maybe I should have said too much. But anyway, it's out there.
I actually don't know. I just got my magazine and I haven't gotten to read. It came in yesterday. But I haven't read the
Oh.
whole article yet. Yeah.
All right.
So
Supposedly, again, getting more in interviews than we are in the trailer, Kamul feels that he's been cheated out of a lordship or a kingship because this dark wizard has taken over the eastern lands of Rune.
mhm.
And so if he wants a lordship, is that greed? Is that he's kind of it's bitterness?
Might
That's
be.
not a ring for Kamul.
It's hunger.
Wrath?
I'm still sticking with
Cruelty?
hunger just because he's our
But
sniffer.
there's
Maybe
no
envy. Maybe envy because he envies the Dark Wizard, who still remains nameless at this point.
Well, I'm just like I feel like I've talked about this in other places, so I don't know if I want to retread this
Yeah.
path. But I'm going to anyway. So I'm positing that Kamul is gonna be our example of a good man who takes a ring for the right reasons to help his people be freed from the clutches of the Dark Wizard. If he ends up being maybe one of our Gaudrim, who used to be kings, and he wants to free his people from the curse, and so maybe he allies with Sauron because of that and takes a ring. And then we could see a good man break bad after he gets a ring.
Mhm.
Because I'm anti Theo Witch King.
I am too. So are you guys on board with this concept of each ring has a different strength?
Well, this is, as Jessica very cleverly pointed out earlier, there's an extrapolation of the 7 deadly sins, but there's some distinct differences that are thrown in here, and it doesn't exactly match that Judeo-Christian tradition of 7 deadly sins, but it mostly matches them. But what's amazing to me is that all the elves and all the dwarves rings are here, at least in this presentation, are all based on really positive attributes, but all the 9 for mortal men are very, very negative attributes. And it makes me wonder what kind of historical bias is already built into this ring naming. And the naming convention has been discussed quite a bit already with our live chat. Names give power. And in all traditional folklore and mythology from many different cultures around the world, having somebody know your name or somebody who knows your real name is an extension of giving power to them, that they know your name, and that does give away your power. That has been absorbed into a lot of other modern fantasy, from the Sandman on down to Rings of Power, where Prince Durin said, that he was going to tell Elrond his real name, you know? And it's kind of baked into the mix of mythological and fantastical stories. So it is appropriate that there is naming conventions. I kind of love that somebody bothered to do these naming conventions, but the bias against mortal men is clear as day, which makes me think, was it an elvish historian who wrote this? Was he
Well,
creating?
yeah.
Yeah, was this guy who made these rings and these names on Twitter? Was he coming from the perspective of this was created by an elvish historian? I wonder.
I'm always saying that the Silmarillion is Elvish propaganda, Noldor propaganda specifically.
Yeah,
And just like the
100%.
lore in general. Yeah.
Even
So,
Tolkien hints at that himself. He says, "Look,
yeah.
the histories were written by the elves because they were the ones that could write, and they have
Yeah.
a bias." That's true to Tolkien. All
Maybe
right,
the
well,
Akalabeth is like our only one I think that's Elendil potentially
yeah,
writes that one.
yeah,
So it's also from, I mean, the perspective that it's also by it, like it's from his
yeah,
perspective, and also he
yeah,
doesn't know everything because he wasn't like
yeah.
a lot of people died. So where's he getting all the information?
I don't
But
know.
yeah, interesting
Keep in
intertextual.
yeah, I agree, but keep in mind, of course, to further illustrate your point, that the title of that section called a Calabeth, that is not an elvish word, that is Adunaic, and that
Yeah.
Adunaic language suggests that that was written by Elendil or his kin. Yeah,
I don't know
absolutely.
about
Even
you
though it
guys,
had
but
the alternative Adelante, like Elvish title
Yeah,
that
Atalante.
Tolkien's uh reappropriated from Atlantis.
yeah.
Atlantis,
Not
yes.
stole. Not
By the
stole.
way, it's the 25th anniversary of Walt Disney Pictures' Atlantis, The Lost Empire. One of the best movies from the late catalog of that studio. Good stuff. Happy anniversary, Atlantis.
I, I don't know about you guys, but just seeing this graphic that this person has put together and the deep conversations we could go on each one, and
Mhm.
and what it would mean if each ring had a different had a different power. Uh, that's when Cliff, when you and I were standing in that shop in that forge, and they revealed the title to me. That's the million things that flashed through my head. This is what that was. I'm firing on all cylinders right now, thinking of like the stories that can be told around these rings. Just sticking with the rings,
Yeah,
right? And
yeah.
and the way they corrupt is so interesting. Every episode, there's 18. What there's 8 times 3 is 24. There's 24 episodes left. They could spend 1 full hour of each of these rings showing its corrupting influence, from a ring's introduction onto someone's hand all the way to his death and resurrection as a Nazgul.
You mean his fading, his very strange fading away from the seen world into the unseen world. Yeah, I'm all in, but I would have thought that that's a lot of those storylines would have gotten some traction in season two. So seasons 3, 4, and 5 are going to have to do all the remainder of that heavy lifting to tell us who are the recipients of these rings, what motivates them, and what happens
And
in their story arc. Yeah.
I hope we don't just get the story of 1 or 2 rings and then and the show kind of says, and this happened to everybody. Like, the interesting thing about the rings of power are the rings of power.
I think we're not going to get all 9 of the men and all 7 of the dwarves, but I think we will get like 3 to 4 pretty well developed stories for the men and a couple for the dwarves as well. There's just not the space to do all of them, but I
There's
fully
all
expect.
the
I mean,
space.
there's
With
not though. They
with
have
enough money, just do it. They literally could
just
do anything that they
ask
want.
forgiveness, not permission.
They could just do things.
They break contract if they do more hours, and also it takes way too long because then they have to do production for longer and blah, 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 blah.
That's why I like the idea of spin-offs. Like, maybe they set up one complete story of one of the rings here in this season, and then they do a spin-off. Like,
I wouldn't say
imagine the spin-offs being called The Rings of Power, the Ironfoots. You know, just like...
Yeah, you could just keep going forever if you do it like that.
Going. Just keep from the world of the Rings of Power. I actually would want that. I'm not joking. I really want that. All right, let's get to some of these interviews, folks. So Amazon invited a lot of influencers to San Diego Comic-Con, and a lot of them got interviews, and they've been trickling out 1 or 2 or 3 at a time. In fact, I have it on good authority that not all of them are released yet. There's still more to come. And that's just since last week. So
I like that they're trickling out. We get like a few per day, and like they're doing it in batches. So it's not just like 12 people releasing interviews with 3 different groups all at the same time. It was already hard enough coming out of Comic-Con when all of the trades were releasing their stuff. I was like, it took me 2 weeks to get through everything. So I do like this little bite-sized snippets that we're getting.
All right. Yeah. The tough part is that they come there's so many of them that you miss 1 or 2, and you miss the context of an entire round of discourse. But that one of the most interesting things that was posted this week by Nerdist, our friends at Nerdist, says, let's zoom out a bit. Wow. McKay notes, only time will tell. I think. Ugh, did I crack? Only time will tell. I think
I wasn't gonna say anything.
Galadriel, and that is spelled in their article from Nerdist. Only time will tell. I think Galadriel will be worried about that. But Jamie Campbell Bower is a pretty stalwart elf. I would believe in his ability to withstand torture. Well, let's back up. Let's pause there, guys. Is there anything in the Tolkien Legendarium that an elf withstood an eon of torture?
Yes, many.
Yeah, many of them.
Many.
Talk to me.
Mithras. What,
Yes.
he was hanging up there for how long? I don't know how long.
Hanging up
by
there
his
on
wrist.
Fangorad Rim, way out there on the What a horrible experience.
Yeah, and then got his hand cut off, and then lived the rest of his life pretty depressed, and then died.
Some of the earliest. How about a very large wave of the firstborn of the children of Ilúvatar who awakened on the shores of Cuiviénen, and they were all, so many of them, those were all taken by Morgoth, and they were tortured and twisted into orcs. And there's such big examples.
I love that.
Story.
Yeah, that Rings of Power came up with a term for that, the Moriondor. I think that's a great little, just like Naznigal. I mean, I love when they do this kind of new thing and reference the lore in that way. Because, I mean, what is that? It makes sense that those would, they didn't really withstand the torture. I mean, they probably held out for a long time and then ultimately became thralls, but.
All right, so that's good. All right, and then Payne offered, and it's funny, they always complete each other's sentences. That's why we call them McPayne. They're just one brain trust. Everyone will be affected by that kind of experience, torture, but not everyone would necessarily be twisted into the darkness. And I think what's interesting about Jamie's Celeborn, everyone responds definitely to those kinds of experiences. And Celeborn, there are actually scenes where he's getting to know Galadriel again, and they're reconnecting in their marriage after having been apart for millennia. Talks about the effect that it's had on him. And actually, you see that it has twisted him, not necessarily toward darkness, but maybe to light.
This is the first time I'm seeing this, like right now, and that's really beautiful. I mean, I love that so much. Like, it's quite emotional to think about, because we're going to see a lot of people getting twisted towards darkness this season. To see someone who this is having the opposite effect on them, and he's having this experience, but it's making him wise and draw more towards the light is, I think, extremely Tolkienian. Like, I love this. I need to see more.
The torture made him love his wife even more?
Yeah, because he was, I mean, what did he have to hold on to during that time of torture? Like maybe one single point of brightness that was able to hold back the darkness.
That's what you know. I'm reminded of Castaway. Was Tom Hanks hanging on for his wife or to deliver that FedEx box?
The metaphysics of Cast Away. I could talk about this all night. Yes, I totally understand that point, Justin. I understand that. Because the package that was ultimately delivered that he'd been holding on to was a symbol of hope in constant darkness. It's the same symbol as when Frodo and Sam are on the slopes of Mount Doom and Samwise notices the star that breaks through the cloud break. Yeah, Erindil. And that is even in The Sandman, when the Lord of the Dreaming is being challenged by Lucifer Morningstar, and he tells Lucifer, what would hell be without hope, without all the souls of the damned having a dream of hope? Then what power would the domain of hell even have? So yeah, that's exactly the point. I get that. I totally get that. And it's conducive to Professor Tolkien's thematic power in many of his stories, which will match the power of despair versus the tiniest gleam of hope, which brings out the best in the characters that struggle and continue to fight the long defeat.
Yeah.
Right? The long defeat.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
And Celeborn, I mean, that's perfect for Celeborn specifically and Galadriel, because that's their line. Like through the long ages of the world, they fought the long defeat together.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think this is great. I can't wait. I everything I'm hearing about this storyline, like what a way to bring in a character that people have said is long overdue to be in the show, and has been left out for a little too long. And it's like, why isn't he here? So that they could do something very interesting that I'm excited to see.
Got a direct quote from the chat from Glorfindel 0828. What power does hell have if those within could not dream of heaven? That's exactly the quote I was looking for. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
Perfect.
I think I found the timestamp of one of the clips I want to show you. This is one of many interviews from the last week. Knew Better, Do Better. One of the coolest guys you got to give a follow to. He asked some great questions and got some great answers from the showrunners. Here we go with Knew Better, Do Better.
That'll always go back to Tolkien and go back to, sort of like how would it look based on what the character would do. And, we know that from Tolkien that evil doesn't create, it only corrupts. So as we were designing Barad-dûr, actually, Sauron very consciously evokes Celebrimbor's workshop from season 2. So when you look at Barad-dûr, you're like, this is going to look really familiar because it looks a lot like Celebrimbor's workshop, but the sort of corrupted, twisted Sauron version of it.
Isn't it typical of him as he took Minas Ithil and he even took the towers of the sea.
is not a creator. He is a warper of someone else's creation.
Yeah.
And that's like down to the way he thinks. He needs other people. He needs to, but this time he doesn't have anyone to help him make the ring. That's one of the fun things this season.
Oh, that is awesome.
All right, guys. What do you think about that? That's a big reveal there that Barad-dûr is officially in the season, and it's going to look exactly like Brimby's Forge.
Classic. I mean, I totally get what they're going for here.
If I'm not mistaken, in the opening of the Fellowship of the Ring, you actually still see some of the incomplete construction in the Tower of Barad-dûr in the very first shot of that bigature, where we cut to the inside and Gollum is being tortured.
Oh, interesting.
There's scaffolding, and you can hear the sounds of hammers and the sounds of construction work still happening because Barad-dûr was such an enormous homage to Thangorodrim, which was impossibly tall. So Barad-dûr and a lot of other interesting YouTubers and other content creators have made 3D accurate scale models to show the height of Barad-dûr. It is inconceivably tall, and it might have taken Sauron many, many centuries to complete its construction.
Are you guys sold on what McPain just said, which is Sauron really cannot create?
Yeah, that's straight from Tolkien.
Yeah.
From the lore, I mean, Morgoth couldn't create, and he wanted to. He wanted to possess the secret fire, which is what makes Eru able to create, but he couldn't, and so he just had to kind of corrupt other things and twist them into different versions. And Sauron was, I mean, more or less the same. That's what is. I was gonna do the fake quote, but then people would think that I was saying it as the real quote. But yeah, it's Frodo in The Lord of the Rings who said, "The shadow that bred the orcs can only mock. It can't make new things of its own." So
I found it interesting that JD
they
right
paraphrased. He wasn't doing the full quote. I know he knows the quote. He paraphrased that.
I kind of wish that
idea.
they hadn't. I don't know, like, but yeah, they paraphrased it. You know, Cliff, I'm reminded when they were talking about this and they mentioned Barad-dûr and Celebrimbor's tower. I'm reminded of everyone's reviews of season 1 of Rings of Power. And one of the things that a lot of people pointed out, and us included, was the first 2 episodes set up, like, Elrond's first task in this entire series is to help Celebrimbor build this tower. Like, literally, he like the first thing, he's sitting in a tree reading his book, right? And they say, "Hey, go talk to Daddy Gil," and Daddy Gil says, "Hey, I need you to help out Celebrimbor over here because he's having trouble building his tower," right? That's how the whole show starts. And then we don't ever get to see any follow-up to that. We get one single wide shot from like 1,000 feet away of like a tower being built somewhere, but we don't get to see Elrond like diving into the building plans, pointing out like, "Oh, you're not going to have enough fire here. You need
not enough time."
What do you mean? That the whole show starts with this task, and then they never show the task.
The whole show starts with that task?
Yes! It's the opening scene for Elrond.
Well, maybe we're about to get the payoff in season 3 when we see the corrupted version of Brimby's workshop tower in Barad-dûr. So.
Also, speaking of something that was glossed over, we never saw the installation of the doors of Durin, which would be the west gate of Moria. We never saw them installed. I would like to see that, really. It was completely missed.
Well,
I think oh, go ahead.
I don't know if this
I don't want someone to tell me that I'm talking too much.
Oh no, yeah.
Oh, no. Never.
I don't know if this is speculation or a fan theory or if someone overheard this at Comic-Con, but there was like something about the doors of Durin seals the Balrog in Moria because the Balrog is casting a spell at the same time Gandalf is casting a spell, and it locks the door from both sides.
Oh, from Lord of the Rings.
Because they're both Maiar?
So in the Fellowship of the Ring, in the Chamber of Marzabul, when they have they first realize the Balrog is there and they shut the door, and then Gandalf is putting a spell on the door, and then the Balrog is on the other side doing a counter spell.
Mm-hmm.
And Gandalf's like, "Oh shit, like this is a creature or a being of the same like power scale that I'm on. Like we gotta go. Like we might be in trouble here." So from the Lord of the Rings, but I think is a good call. Not the doors of Durin. Not the ones that they.
But the interesting thing about Barad-dûr here, because obviously the season 3 is gonna have a big thing to do with Barad-dûr, and they spend a lot of time there, is that I feel like this would have been a nice payoff if they had spent any amount of time in episode 1 of season 1 showing the building of Celebrimbor's forge, and maybe show the comparison of what the decisions Elrond makes to make Celebrimbor's forge work and the bad decisions or the corruption that Sauron and his minions make. Like you see, the set it up in season 1 and pay off in season 3. That I'm trying to think through.
I think that you are on a good track. I just think that they're going to do that with the ring making this season. Sauron's ring making, their process versus the process that we saw last season versus the process we saw the elves do. So they're going to show the corruption and the warping of the process for that task versus the workshop, which is just not as integral. I know I think season 1, the filming and COVID and everything, the recast and blah, 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 I'm sure maybe had an effect on their ability to do all of that. I don't know what all they had to reshoot and kind of change to work with that, but
it was just,
I think we will see some payoff there that you're looking for.
I have seen some fan debate even this week of why would you want to show the technical details of making magic items? Like, the whole thing about Tolkien is this is all soft magic. There isn't a, it kind of changes, or some people would say ruin the magic of Tolkien, the soft magic, by showing the utilitarian workflow of building magic items, so maybe McPain are onto something by not showing us the gritty details of what it took to build the forge. I don't know.
Yeah, I think it's a classic case of damned if they do, damned if they don't. If they didn't show us any specifics or any concrete processes or techniques that they use to do certain things, then people would be like, well, this doesn't make sense, even though it's fantasy. And then they do, and people are like, this isn't how science works. And it's well, it's fantasy.
Oh man,
whatever.
Remember the stupid debates over the volcano,
the explosion? Yeah. All right, it's that again.
maybe the less science, the better. I don't know, Cliff. Where
I don't know.
are
I
you
think
at
they
this,
strike
on
the
this?
balance.
I would like to correct the record that in episode 1 of season 1, there isn't a conversation really. Circling back to what you said, Justin, there isn't a conversation about Elrond being immediately compelled to get involved in what the dwarves and Celebrimbor were building for a tower with a forge in it. I think that happened several episodes later, and because someone in the live chat just pointed that out. But what is distinct to me is someone said that Sauron would attempt to make the One Ring in Barad-dûr and it wouldn't work. So maybe following that, he's going to make a second attempt to make the One Ring, and maybe that will happen literally at Orodruin, where it's supposed to happen. Maybe the storytellers in season 3 still have that kind of leeway to see Sauron making mistakes before he gets to a perfected point of making the One Ring.
The interesting thing, I don't know if this was fan speculation or overheard at the party at Comic-Con, or if it was actually in an interview, because there's been so many interviews. But one of the theories floating about is the reason Sauron goes to talk to the Balrog is because Sauron fails in Barad-dûr, making the One Ring, realizes he needs a hotter forge, and he goes to the Balrog saying, hey bro, we're both Maiar, how do you deal with fire? You're made of it. And the Balrog teaches him how to deal with the heat in Orodruin. Do you like that idea?
I mean, I think that you're not wrong. I think we'll see something like that. I think people have an issue with, I don't know why people have an issue, as if we know the ins and outs of how Sauron made the ring and how many attempts it took him and what knowledge he needed. People are hate to hear that Sauron needed help or advice in order to do this. It's why why are you defending Sauron? Like he's kind of a girl failure. Like,
Yeah.
I don't
All right.
know. He can
That's
fail.
enough Sauron for now. I've got a video
Aw.
clip of Tar Mariel, which I guess she's not Tar anymore because that's a title, right? She's just Miriel, right? He is
now.
now Ar Pharazôn.
Mhm.
Does that mean R and Tar are gendered?
Possibly.
Well,
The
it's
language.
Tar is the Quenya versus R is the Adunaic.
Oh,
But they're
interesting.
both the royal.
And
So
Tar
I
is
think
Kate Blanchett. So, we do like Tar. All right. Here is Mariel.
Nice.
The audio is really bad, so listen up.
That I am curious to see how people will react when we get to the end of season, where we are leaving these characters by the end of the season. Because obviously, Numenor and the direction that we're headed in for that storyline specifically, there's a lot that's going to happen this season. I'm trying to talk around it. Let's talk after season 3.
Okay. For you then, your character.
All right, the audio is really, really bad. Sorry. Again, these interviews, I gotta say, these interviews are all over the place in the audio and video quality. Like, it's kind of frustrating sometimes to get all the info. But someone wrote it up. What she said. Someone asked her if the show made the decision to make Miriel 100% an enemy of Pharazôn, or if things would be more complicated than that. That's the question from the press. Is Miriel an enemy of Pharazôn, or is it more complicated? And her answer, she says she couldn't really answer without giving away spoilers, but she said, quote, "I'll be curious to see how people react when we get to the end of the season. When we're leaving those characters by the end of the season, because obviously with the direction the Numenor storyline is heading, there's a lot that's going to happen this season." Any inclinations on Cynthia saying, "I'll be curious to see how people will react to her storyline by the end of the season"? Because I tell you where my mind goes, last time we heard a comment like that was when Morphith says, "I'm curious to see how people will react to a kiss."
I'd love to react to a Miriel kiss with Elendil.
Oh
With
my
Pharazôn?
goodness.
With Pharazôn?
With Elendil. No, not
Pharazôn?
Pharazôn.
What's
Ugh.
wrong with you, Justin? Oh my gosh.
We need more love triangles, don't we?
Yeah. I don't think
Perhaps.
but she can't say much. Like they're not they're not letting her say much about the storyline. We don't know much about the Numenor storyline, specifically hers, which leads me to think that there's something big that we will get surprised with very early on. So I don't know that this. I mean,
well, the chat room today on Discord was saying that if Miriel was 100% against Pharazôn, she would just say it, and it wouldn't be a spoiler. But the way she answered this means we might get a forced marriage.
Oh gosh.
So I have a theory about how they could do this. No,
The
I
floor is
do. Like a
yours.
really good one. Yeah.
Okay, I'll make you full screen for this.
You're gonna give me the full screen? Okay. So this is one I've been cooking with some other people. So this isn't just mine, but I do believe that. So we know that we're going to be like Numenor is going to be in the middle of a civil war, Faithful and Kingsmen. And we know also that Gil-galad and Elrond will be coming over to request their help. Why would Ar-Pharazôn give help and like take men back to Middle Earth after what happened last time? He wouldn't, unless he has the civil war that he's having to deal with. And Miriel, who is, I think from other interviews, we've heard that she's leading a resistance or a rebellion. She's working with the faithful. So my idea is that she will leverage her like pull with the faithful, and she will agree, giving her a little bit more agency here. She will agree to marry Farazone, or like bring the two factions together, if and that would end the Civil War if he agrees to help the elves and the men in Middle Earth from Sauron. So that's kind of what I'm thinking. So in that way, you could see that she's not outright saying I'm against Farazon, because unfortunately, she is going to have to sacrifice what she might want, and do something that she doesn't really want to, but it's for the good of her people and the people in Middle Earth. And this would be very much in line with her character that we've seen so far. She is, the way of the faithful. It's
I get that. I
it's a
totally
hard
get
road.
that. That's that.
Yeah.
I do get that theory. I understand that. And if the show is trying to bring itself up to Game of Thrones level or to House of the Dragon level, then here comes the part where, a woman who would normally be in a position of power has to give up some of her agency for the sake of other things. And that probably sounds like something that JD and Patrick would align to do.
But she
for the
gains her
drama.
agency.
Yeah.
She gains more agency than her character does in the
Ah.
lore via a forced marriage. If she's just taken by Farazon and forced into marriage, this
Right.
way she's choosing it
Yeah,
for
I
the
get
good of
that.
her people and just sacrificing her happiness,
Well,
maybe.
I totally get
don't
that.
which would be tragic.
I have
Tragic, but
I wrote down
it
a
makes
couple
good
other
TV
quotes.
drama. To elevate the drama of the show. I
Mhm.
get that. I get it. Yeah.
Yeah,
And maybe we get one kiss from Muriel and Elendil. And then she's like, from Muriel and Elendil. And then she's like, I'm so sorry. I have to marry my
gosh.
cousin
Paul
for the
Moore
good
gosh.
of Numenor.
Atreides when he looks at Zendaya and says, "I will always love you," and then he turns around and marries
Yeah.
Florence
I mean,
Pugh.
a little bit, kind of, but also Muriel is not going to then become like the biggest genocidal dictator that the galaxy has ever seen, et cetera,
But
et
is
cetera.
she? I mean,
No, she's
they,
not.
they do some crazy stuff that the gods decide everyone needs to go. Here's a couple other quotes from Cynthia I pulled from other interviews. Again, I couldn't find the time codes in time. She says, quote, "She should be queen. Muriel should. She should be queen. And for everyone in exile, she is their queen."
Yeah. So there's like two rulers right now, and half
Mhm.
of, maybe not half, but a good chunk of Numenor is following one. And, the rest of them are following Farazon. So if he wants to unite or to consolidate power, which he does, he wants to be the king of all men, because he's a greedy son of a gun.
Well, here's another quote that I was like, oh wow, like I stood up in my chair when she said it. She said, "I'm curious how the lore focused fans will react at the end of season 3, because a lot is happening."
Who said that?
Cynthia.
Which one? Cynthia did?
Yeah. In that clip just now. Yeah.
Oh,
But she said it in another interview as well. She said, she specifically called out the lore bros. She said, "I'm curious how the lore bros will react at the end of season 3."
well, of course, they'll be pissed that a woman got more agency and a bigger character arc than she's given in the original lore. So, of course, the lore bros will be pissed, but we don't care about them. But I think it's a wonderful change.
And then there was another interview where Cynthia goes deep, and they ask about she goes deep on Muriel's relationship with Farazon. She says, "Listen, Muriel and Farazon, as cousins, they would have come up together at the same time." And she said it's interesting when they diverge at some point and why they diverge. So in interviews, Cynthia is saying that Muriel and Farazon ran in the same circles, are cousins, and they came up in the same education system, the same, gifted, and she's like, at some point, their paths diverged. And she said, that's
Ooh.
interesting to explore.
Are we going to get some backstory? That would be interesting.
Maybe.
Flashbacks to what caused that. If there's something more. I wonder if Farazan had a little bit of a, what's it called? A crisis of faith after his wife died and fell away. Because, I mean, his wife was able to name Kemen, give him like an elvish name. And then I wonder if after that he kind of fell away from the path of the faithful and Muriel continued, even though she also lost people. It's just, once again, we're seeing how different people deal with trauma. Some go towards darkness, some go towards light.
Well, the interesting thing, Cliff, I think you were one of the first to tell me of all things in Tolkien, and the story of Numenor is probably the closest Tolkien ever gets to a George R.R. Martin style hedonistic society. And here we have Muriel in interviews already saying these guys are cousins. Her and Farazan are cousins. And isn't that the big thing with House of the Dragon? That the Targaryen cousins marry? And that's how
not just cousins, but not
Yeah,
just
a little
cousins,
closer
but
than that.
yeah, like first degree uncle and niece and brother and sister and all kinds of crazy Targaryen nonsense.
Do you know how many cousins married in Tolkien, though?
Yeah,
A lot.
well,
A lot of elf cousins.
you guys, you'll have to forgive me. It is 6:32, and it is time for me to run over to the pharmacy before they close so I can pick up my prescription. And I'm enjoying this very, very much. And as I always do, I cannot thank you enough, Jessica, for joining us and bringing your
pleasure.
insights and lovely, lovely intuition about storytelling and Tolkien. But I'm afraid that I've got to go. And thank you very much. I'll let you guys close the show. You guys have a wonderful night, and we'll certainly see you all next week. Good night, everybody. See you later. Bye.
Good night, Cliff.
Good night,
Bye.
Cliff. Always great. Well, I kind of like I had a bunch of more notes of things that were spoken in all the interviews, but
I mean,
I
I'm
kind of
not-
want Cliff part of
Oh.
that conversation. I mean, we
I
could
know.
we could go over the thing. In the meantime, let's check in on Nerd of
We
the
can always
Rings.
retread it next time.
Yeah, I mean, we do the show every week. Let's take a look at Nerd of the Rings and Barking playing the new War in the North. Well, yes, we are.
Can you take their sound
live
down a little?
streaming.
Theirs is really loud.
Theirs is really loud.
There we go.
There we go.
Is Varking playing, or is it just Matt?
Varking's on the team right there. Oh, is that Higgy Baby? I think you can play 3-player. One person's an elf, one person's a dwarf.
I bet Varking's the dwarf.
Played this, to be honest.
They're not doing much talking, are they?
Hell. Oh crap! I might need some resurrection here, guys.
There's a thing on the wall over here, back near me.
This looks very much like Shadow of War, where you like stomp on.
Oh
well, I
no,
guess
I died.
maybe not.
Nope, just hang out right
Oh,
there.
look, there it is. There
Getting a
is
lot of XP,
Matt,
though.
Nerd of the Rings, dying.
No, it is Shadow of War-esque, where you or God of War, where you stomp on those health
Yeah.
things.
You stomp on the health things? Yeah.
Or is he going to stomp on it or just run through it? I mean, you
All
should
right,
probably grab it.
There's
It's right
Barking.
there.
Barking's coming to the rescue as the dwarf. Look at that. Here we go.
I don't know if you're aware, but there's
Matt's going to hit you with the copyright.
Oh no!
Barking
I don't know
is
how.
dead.
How did I
got all the
die?
help.
Oh, I died.
How
now.
did you die?
Wow.
Oh no.
Because you died.
They all died. Oh, they got to
Rip.
restart the whole thing. Well, that looks like fun,
Alright, you guys
actually.
are
And you can see your partner's health
I
bar.
cannot
some of
hear you.
those
I can
shields.
barely hear you because they're so loud.
Are they still loud? All right, let me turn it down.
For me, they are.
Yeah. All right.
Just a little bit.
Well,
Those
that's
shields also heal us.
that's
When we're inside them,
that's your
think we get-
preview of Nerd of the Rings
or maybe not. Maybe that's a
in
different
playing
little
and
group
Barking
game.
playing
That's
War in the
above
North,
my
the new
pay
game coming out. Let me see if
That's in
do I have another
You get
clip?
killed in Gandalf's bubble?
Oh, this is an interesting
Or
clip
maybe
here.
on-
Maybe we'll just leave with this one. All right. And have a conversation about this. All right, here's another clip from these latest round of interviews. I'm just bringing it up full screen.
You tweeted something. You tweeted a line from the show, just completely out of context. You were like,
One cannot know light
to find the light, we must first touch the darkness. And it sent everyone into a frenzy online. There was so much speculation. But I wanted to ask, what does that line mean for your character?
Oh, Lord, I've got to be so careful here. Well, first of all, I had no intention of sending anyone into a frenzy. And then, for me as a character, you'll have to wait and see, I think, for this season. I mean, I think one thing that's really important is that, Celeborn enters this season, I don't want to use the term battle-hardened, but certainly sort of battle-scarred, in a way, having experienced a level of darkness. And I think that the way I've viewed his opinion on war was always something that was to remember the sorrow of war. It was never something to be kind of celebrated all that much. It's that thing, if I have to, I must, but the loss of any living creature is deeply important to him. And I think that almost touches on the idea of sort of the light and the darkness. But you'll have to see more this season. And I think that's where this wisdom comes from. Yeah.
Nice. Yeah, that's very Tolkienian.
What's your read on Charlie's body language there, Jess?
He had to do a factory reset. No, I honestly think he was trying to like hold in a sneeze or something, because that's kind of what I do. It's like I'm trying not to sneeze in the middle of an interview or do something weird, because it is. I can't even do that. I can only close like my right eye really good. But it is hilarious. I mean, I feel like Charlie's just like me, like no poker face whatsoever. It's really funny watching these interviews, and yeah, great actor, not a good poker face for interviews. It's really funny.
Right. A couple other quotes from Jamie Campbell Bower, who I'm really excited about joining the show. He said, quote, "What does joy mean? It's not the absence of suffering, it's finding hope."
That's Jamie.
Yeah.
That's beautiful. I mean, that's so Tolkienian. Again, I feel like I keep saying that. He gets it.
He's the full
He gets
package.
it.
He gets it.
Yeah. You can really tell that he's like really thought in the same way that, I mean, both of Charlie and Ismail as well, both have really like thought deeply about their characters, and might not have known a ton about the lore before, but like now Charlie's like reading Morgoth's Ring and like diving in that way. And I'm sure Jamie has like pulled out some real deep cuts as well. I just love that these guys are really, really digging into these characters and trying to do something, even if like the character beats might not exist in the lore, they're pulling out these extremely Tolkienian themes that make these characters feel very true to Tolkien, which I love.
Jamie reveals, along with Ismail, that they're both dyslexic, so they don't read as much. It's hard. Like when you're dyslexic, your brain just confuses words. So Jamie is a visual learner, and he says, quote, "Tolkien's paintings helped me." It's like, I'm a very visual person. So
I wonder which ones. Like, I wonder if he has like, I want to ask him now. I wish we would call some
tried
out.
to do some research in like paintings of Celeborn and Galadriel that Tolkien has done, and to be determined. I haven't found some good ones to
I don't think
show.
Tolkien's done any of Galadriel and Celeborn. He didn't really do people very well.
Right.
He's kind of funny. But he did one of my favorite paintings that Tolkien did is called The Shores of Fairy. And I feel like chat needs to see this because it's so nice. And how loud is my keyboard?
Can't hear it now.
Really?
At all. Chat,
it's doing its job.
Chat, you guys are the ones that we're trying to protect your beautiful little ears, hobbit ears.
Okay, I'm sending this to you really fast.
You're gonna hear a beep.
Doo-doo.
Look at that. What is this? What are we looking at?
This is The Shores of Fairy, which is a Tolkien original painting that he did, which I just think is beautiful, like based on his poem. And this is just kind of, it's depicting like Valinor, like uh before it was the version of Valinor that it became in the lore, like the early stages of him kind of conceptualizing it. And I just think it's beautiful, like just like the light, and you can see the waves and the city on the hill, which is probably the hill is probably Tuna, which I think is so funny.
Interesting.
But yeah, this is from the poem.
That last interview, of course, was Tea with Tolkien. She did a wonderful job editing her questions and answers. She just has an amazing thing. In fact, today, if you go to the Rings of Power on their official accounts on Instagram, they've reposted, regrammed, as the kids say, Tea with Tolkien's content. So
yeah,
the official Rings of Power social media person is definitely a fan of Tea with Tolkien. But another quote, I don't have it queued up, so I'll just tell you another quote from T's interview. She asked Charlie and about Celebrimbor, and Charlie, quote, "You'll see early on in episode 1 that in that moment he does care about Celebrimbor's name calling. It drives him for 5 years." And the fans have picked up on that in a big way, because
that's me. That's mine.
The fans have there's no singular credit in the fandom. We all
No,
share
I made
share
this.
No, I made this.
No, I made this.
So
stop lying.
We're all Sauron. Based on Charlie's comments in many of these interviews, it has become quite apparent he's got an angel and the devil on his shoulder. Why is Glug on there?
I don't know. Someone said Glug was it was Glug and Brimby on each shoulder as he's trying to forge the ring. There's probably better options than Glug, but I thought it was funny. But honestly, he killed both of these guys, so they're probably both angels or both devils. I don't know if the angel is supposed to lead them to doing what they want and the devil's trying to change their mind, or the angel's gonna tell them to do what's good and Sauron's not gonna do that. So they're both against him. I don't know. Jessica's the shoulder angel and Justin's the shoulder devil. And then Cliff is Sauron in this analogy.
Another quote from Charlie in another interview. He, Sauron, is the hero. He tries to heal and bring order. That extends to Numenor next season. He cannot see himself as a destroyer. He's doing what he thinks is best. I agree with that statement. I haven't seen that in the show.
What? That he thinks he's doing what's best?
Correct. Can you give me a reminder why he made the 9 rings in season 2?
Well, because what he wants to do is he wants to order Middle Earth after it is in chaos.
What episode did he say that in?
Season 1, episode 8, the raft scene. He says, gosh, I don't remember the exact quote, but he wants to save Middle Earth. He says this to Galadriel, and then she says, "Save or rule," and he's like, "I see no difference." And she's like, "Well, that's not flying with me." But the way that he wants to save Middle Earth is by bringing it under his control so that he can like put it to what he thinks is right. And the only way he thinks he can do that is by like bringing the men under his control so he can rule them, and then bringing the dwarves under his control. And he wants to do the same to the elves. It's not going to work. But if he can put everything in his version of what it looks like, to like be ordered and be set to rights, then that to him is saving it from the chaos that like has existed since the War of Wrath and Morgoth's defeat. Yeah, and chat is right. He wants perfect order in Arya through tyranny. Yes, exactly. So
Is that in the
he
show? I feel like that is underexplored in the show so far. The only time we got that is in the Haladriel raft scene.
I don't think so.
Because
Yeah,
I
I think
agree that that's the core focus of the Sauron's story in the books. Yes, he wants to. He thinks he's a good guy. He wants to bring order. I haven't seen that in the show. Do you think we're gonna see that in season 3?
Well, I think it becomes less about the order of it all and more about the dominion. Like the way that he wants to bring order is through dominating everyone in Middle Earth. As things progress and he gets more evil, it's only focused on the domination and the order becomes secondary. So I think that's what we're seeing here, like in him kind of. I think they will explore that more because I do feel like that did come across when he's Anatar and in conversation with Brimby, which it sounds like I'm due for a rewatch. But things that Charlie has said, like that he's gonna start degrading and decaying in his form since season 2, make me think that like we're gonna see gloves off, and he's like, yeah, now it's just everyone needs to listen to me and do what I say.
Okay. Another quote from Charlie. Interesting. Might be a spoiler. We see a lot more of what he thinks of the Valar when he goes to Numenor.
I'm excited for that.
What does that mean? Because up to now, Sauron hasn't talked about the Valar at all, except when he appears as Anatar to Brimby and say, "Hey, I've been sent from the Valar. Invite me in."
Well, he talks about Morgoth. When he talks about when he's like torturing Brimby. Well, he's not. He is torturing him at this point mentally, and he's like, "Oh, it used to be a little game. Whose will was the mightier between me and Morgoth? Our little sadomasochism games." And so they did that, and I think when he goes to Numenor,
the last
he's
thing
going
I need after
to
putting my kids to sleep is a squeaky bed. Upgraded to
Sorry.
when he goes to Numenor, and I don't want to give too much away, but it would be great to see him. We know that he's going to try to deceive the Numenorians by turning them away from worship of the Valar, which they're already kind of not doing, to worshiping Morgoth. And that's going to result in my favorite, human sacrifices. And then just a general like downfall and, you know, horribleness and whatever. So yeah, I don't know. I'm excited to see it though. I think we're losing people.
Well, there's more interviews to come in the coming days. If you want to find all of these interviews, some of them are like 2 minutes long, some of them are 10 minutes long. A lot, but everything's pretty much short form. I haven't seen a lot of repeat questions, so that's really cool. There's a little tidbit in every interview. We've got some posted at the one youtube.com/theoneringnnet. We've got a link. We've got a whole channel in the Discord dedicated to just links to all these interviews. So we tell you every week, come into the Discord. In the Rings of Power general chat, you'll see a thread of all of the links. All of the links to all these interviews as they come up. Jess,
can I promo one thing?
Yeah, please.
Okay. Let me find it. You keep talking in the meantime. Let me find it and I'll send it to you.
Well, listen, I'm so excited for for this season to see the rings being made. Get to see a hot and sweaty, hopefully shirtless Charlie.
Hopefully shirtless. Yes.
Way ahead of you
Yes,
there.
that's all I want. Alan Lee painting brought to life.
We can't promote that until it's open. We don't
It's
pre-promote.
on Friday. Yes, we do.
Oh, it is Friday?
It's
All right.
Friday, yeah.
All right. What is
thanks,
this?
Justin.
I've seen so many posts about this. What is
Oh,
it?
let's play the sound. Wait, play the
Are we
sound.
gonna get copyright clipped?
No, it's mine, ours. So, this is do you like that? Isn't that fun?
I'm hyped now.
Yeah.
Let's go.
This is our new podcast. It is you can mute that unless you want to play it over and over.
Once is enough.
Yeah, this is myself and Northy and Rosie.
Which
who
one are
you
you
will
in
know.
there? The one in the
I'm
middle?
actually the one in the middle.
Okay.
And then Rosie is on the left with the furs, and then Northy is on the right. And this is our new podcast that our first episode comes out this Friday. It's looking at Rings of Power through a lore-based background and perspective, looking at the costumes, the characters, lots of different stuff. So we're really excited for this, and it comes out Friday. So hopefully everyone likes it. And Rosie did this art, which is amazing. And Shiv, the Shiv Knight, created our little, I don't know what to call it, little jingle.
Around? Man, I haven't
Yeah,
heard
he's
that
still
name
around.
in a while.
Yeah, remember you guys voted against me for world domination in the Torn poll that you put up that one time. He voted against me. I was like, well, this is how he made it up for me by creating this little audio jingle. So anyway, thanks for letting me promote that. This is
So that's on Friday
exciting.
on your favorite podcast. Like, I only have an iPhone,
Yes.
so I use the podcast app on my iPhone.
I do too. But it will be on Spotify and Apple Podcasts and also YouTube once I figure that out. It's audio only. So yeah, podcast.
It's audio only, no video.
No video for this.
All right. So we still
To
got
keep
you
anonymity.
we still got you on the Tuesday exclusive video.
Oh yeah, this is Friday. Yeah, and audio only because we're gonna maintain some anonymity for our other Nazgals, which I think is a great name. It is
That's
a great
fun.
name. Rosie came up with that name.
It's great. It actually when I first heard it, I thought it was inspired by the three, what do they call them? Witches.
Oh, the
from season
Mystics?
one.
Yeah.
The Mystics.
That would be that's also a good reference. Which I feel like maybe one of our Mystics is one of our Naznagal in season 3, but we'll have to see.
Final
I do
question.
think one of them is. Mm-hmm.
Do you think any of the Nazgul or Nazganal are women?
Yeah, I think that the one in the shot where there's 2 of them, I think the one on the right is, and maybe next week I can bring
some receipts?
my pictures. Well, yeah, I mean, not really receipts because it's not proven yet, but I have supporting evidence. Yeah.
All right. Well, that comes out this Friday, and we'll be back next Tuesday at 5 p.m. Pacific for even more Rings of Power goodness. And man, how many more Lord of the Rings games are going to be surprise dropped on us? This was an amazing, exciting day. During the show, I got a text message from someone in the know saying the announcement post is Middle Earth's biggest, most liked Instagram post ever. So
For the game?
For the War in the North. So the hype is real. Go out and get it. It's 10% off on Epic Store and Steam, and it's also available on the Switch digital store and Xbox and PlayStation Network. So War North is out, and we're gonna keep our eyes on for all of the upcoming new interviews that keep trickling out to get all these morsels. I feel like this is going to be a very long article once we assemble all of the tidbits that are revealed
Yeah.
across these 50 influencers.
I know. We got to collect it all.
It's like Pokemon
like treasure
at this
hunt.
point.
I know, right?
All right, well,
Yeah,
that's our
that-
show. We want to thank Cliff for doing it, and I want to thank you guys for staying for the full 2 hours. It's an amazing show. I wish I could raid the stream on Matt's channel, but YouTube doesn't seem to have an easy raid button. So
I don't think that's a feature that you can do. That would be chaotic if that was allowed.
Supposedly it's allowed, but I can't figure it out. That's what I'm trying to. Anyway,
You got to be friends.
so if after this show, we're gonna end the show, and then I highly recommend going over and watching the 300 other people watching War in the North.
Oh, wow.
The brand new gameplay with Varking and Higgy Baby, and of course Nerd of the Rings over on Nerd of the Rings YouTube channel. So I sometimes get to say it, but since Cliff left early, Jess, can you say the line?
I'll do my best. Good night and good luck, or as I like to say, buenos noches y buenos suerte. Goodbye, everybody.